Hello friends, welcome to Premier UPSC Ias. So this is the third part of art and culture. Today we are going to discuss about religions in India. Hinduism. The word Hindu is derived from a Sanskrit name Sindhu for the Indus River. Hinduism is considered as the oldest religion of the world, originated around 5000 years ago. It is the predominant spiritual following of the Indian subcontinent and one of its indigenous faiths. Hinduism is a conglomeration of distinct intellectual or philosophical points of view rather than a rigid common set of beliefs. Hindus worship a god with different forms. Hinduism was spread through parts of Southeastern Asia, China, Korea, and Japan. Important evidences. The origin of Hinduism dates back to prehistoric times. Some of the important evidence of prehistoric historic times are the following. Mesolithic rock paintings depicting dances and rituals give evidence attesting to prehistoric religion in the Indian subcontinent. Neolithic pastoralists inhabiting the Indus River Valley buried their dead in a manner suggestive of spiritual practices that incorporated notions of an afterlife and belief in magic. Other Stone Age sites such as Bhimbetka rock shelters in central Madhya Pradesh and Kupgal petroglyphs of eastern Karnataka contain the rock art portraying religious rites and evidence of possible ritualized music. The people of the Indus Valley civilization centered around the Indus and Ghaggar-Hakra river valleys may have worshipped an important mother goddess symbolizing fertility. Excavations of Indus Valley civilization sites show seals with animals and fire altars indicating rituals associated with fire. A linga yoni similar to that which is now worshipped by Hindus has also been found in the Indus Valley civilization. The oldest surviving text of Hinduism is the Rig Veda, produced during the Vedic period 1700 to 1100 BCE. The Vedas center for worship of deities such as Indra, Varuna, and Agni, and for the Soma ritual. Fire sacrifices called yajna is performed chanting Vedic mantras chanted, but no temples or idols are known. The earliest versions of the two greatest Hindu epics, the Ramayana and Mahabharata, were written roughly from 500 to 100 BCE. After 200 BCE, several schools of thought were formally codified in Indian philosophy, including Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Samkhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, and Vedanta. The 9th and the 8th centuries BCE witnessed the composition of the earliest Upanishads. Upanishads form the theoretical basis of classical Hinduism and are known as Vedanta, conclusion of the Veda. Fourth sects under the Hinduism, Vaishnavism. Followers consider Vishnu as the supreme lord. The tradition has traceable roots to the first millennium BCE as Bhagavatism, also called as Krishnaism. The Vaishnava tradition has many sampradayas or sub-schools. Shaivism. It considers Shiva as the supreme lord. Shaivism traces its origin before Vaishnavism in 2nd millennium BCE in the form of Vedic deity Rudra. Shaktism. It considers feminine and the Devi or goddess as supreme. It is known for its various sub-traditions of Tantra. Smartism. It is based on the teachings of Puranas. They believe in domestic worship of 5 shrines with 5 deities, all treated as equals Shiva, Shakti, Ganesh, Vishnu, and Surya. Smartism accepts two concepts of Brahman, namely Saguna Brahman, the Brahman with attributes, and Nirguna Brahman, the Brahman without attributes. Karvaka school. Hinduism, otherwise a highly theistic religion, hosted atheistic schools namely Karvaka. The thoroughly materialistic and anti-religious philosophical Karvaka Nastika school originated in India around the 6th century BCE is probably the most explicitly atheistic school of Indian philosophy. Karvaka philosophy is fragmentary, based largely on criticism of the ideas by other schools, and it is no longer a living tradition. Shravana schools. The word Shravana means one who performs acts of austerity and ascetic. They are commonly known as monks. Shravana followers who renounce the married and domestic life and adopt an ascetic path. The Shravanas rejected the authority of the Brahmins. It refers to several Indian religious movements parallel to the Vedic religion. The various Shravana schools include the following: Jainism, Buddhism, Charvakas, Ajivikas, and Ajnanas. Ajivikas, the school revolves around the Niyati, fate doctrine of absolute determinism. Achinanas, the school believed that it is impossible to attain knowledge about nature, ignorance is best. Hindu pilgrimage sites. Chardham, famous four pilgrimage sites. Puri, Odisha in the east, Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu in the south, Dwarka, Gujarat in the west, and Badrinath alternatively in the Himalayan towns of Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, and Yamunotri, Uttarakhand in the north. Kumbh Mela sites, one of the holiest Hindu pilgrimages that is held every 12 years. The location is rotated among the following four sites. Cities: Allahabad, Haridwar, Nasik, and Ujjain. It is considered as one of the largest pilgrimage gatherings in the world. Jainism. The word Jain is derived from Jina or Jaina, which means the conqueror. Jainism does not have a single founder. Instead of that, the truth comes to the world in difficult and different times by a teacher who shows the way called a Tirthankara. There were 23 Tirthankaras or great learned men in the Jain religion before Mahavira. Jainism rejects the authority of Vedas. Anekantavada, the fundamental doctrine of Jainism, emphasizes that the ultimate truth and reality is complex and has multiple aspects. Hence, there exists non-absolutism, that means no single specific statement can describe the nature of existence and the absolute truth. They believe that through a threefold path consisting the following: right belief, samyak darshan; right knowledge, samyak gnana; and right conduct, samyak charitra, one can get rid of the bad karma and also pull themselves out of the cycle of rebirth and achieve salvation to follow a threefold path. Also, Jains need to follow these five constraints in life, such as ahimsa, non-violence; satya, truthfulness; asteya, non-stealing; apagriha, non-acquisition; and brahmacharya, chaste living. The fifth tenet was propounded by Mahavira. Jain sects. In the 4th century CE, Jainism developed two major divisions such as Digambara, sky-clad ascetics, and Svetambara, white-robed ascetics. Both Digambara and Svetambara communities have continued to develop almost independently of each other, and with the passage of time, both had further subsects. Apart from some minor differences in rituals and way of life, their belief and practices for the progressing one's spirituality are the same. Digambaras like Mahavira practice total nudity to avoid all attachments. Svetambaras reject nudity as an exterior symbol having no significance on their inner spiritual development. They also accepted women into the monastic community early, or unlike the Digambaras. The four main sects with a sizable population are Digambara and three subsects of Svetambara such as Sthanakvasi, Murti Pujak, and Tirapanthi. Stanakwasi. They believe in praying to saints rather than to an idol in a temple. The saints wear a muhapatti near their mouth to cover it, unlike Murti Pujak. Murti Pujaka Deravasi. They keep idols of the Tirthankaras at their temples and worship them, and the saints do not wear a muhapatti. Terapanthi. They pray to saints rather than to an idol in a temple like Sthanakavasi. Terapanthi saints also wear a mohapatti near their mouth to cover it. Jain pilgrimages. Major Jain pilgrimages in India include the following: Dilwara Temple in Mount Abu, Rajasthan; Palitana Temples, Gujarat; Girnar, Gujarat; Shikharji, Jharkhand; and Shravanabelagola, Karnataka. Eight auspicious symbols under the Jainism. Swastika, it signifies peace and well-being of humans. Nandyavarta, it is a large swastika with nine endpoints. Bhadrasana, a throne which is said to be sanctified by the Jainas' feet. Srivastava, a mark which manifested on the Jain's chest and signified his pure soul. Darpana, the mirror which reflects the inner self. Minayagula, Minayugala, a couple of fish which signifies the conquest over sexual urges. Vardhamanaka, a shallow dish used as lamp which shows the increase in the wealth, due, and merit. Kalasha, a pot filled with pure water signifying water. Buddhism. Buddhism is a religion indigenous to the Indian subcontinent that encompasses a variety of beliefs, traditions, and practices, largely based on teachings attributed to Siddhartha Gautama, who is commonly known as Buddha. It is the world's fourth largest religion after Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism. Around 7% of the world's population embraces Buddhism. Buddhists make about 0.7% of the India's population, with the majority being in Maharashtra. Three jewels. The three jewels Triratnas embraced under Buddhism are the following: Buddha, the enlightened one; Dhamma, teachings of the Buddha doctrine; Sangha, a monastic order. Out of the three jewels or Triratnas, the concept of Sangha, the order, was initiated by Buddha at the time of giving the first sermon. Four Noble Truths. The basic tenets of Buddhism are explained through the four major noble truths. They are the following: Dukkha, the truth of suffering; Samudaya, the truth of origin of suffering; Nirodha, the truth of cessation of suffering; Magga, the truth of path to the cessation of suffering. Noble Eightfold Path. If one could get rid of desires and needs, then one could be free and at peace. This can be attained through the following Noble Eightfold Path. They include the following: kind, truthful, and right speech; honest, peaceful, and right action; to find the right livelihood which does not harm any being; right effort and cultivating self control; right mindfulness, right meditation, and concentrating on the meaning of life. The worth of the sincere and intelligent man is through the right thoughts. One should avoid superstition and cultivate the right understanding. According to Buddha, the middle path, Madhyam Marg, or the middle way, describes the character of the noble eightfold path that leads to liberation. Buddhist literature Tripitakas. Buddhism rejects the authenticity of Vedas, that is, it does not accept it. It also rejects the concept of existence of soul Atman, unlike Jainism. The result was writing of three major Pitakas that, when combined, were called as Tripitakas: Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. Five great events of Buddha's life. The five great events in Buddha's life are represented by symbols such as birth by lotus and bull, great renunciation by horse, nirvana by bodhi tree, first sermon by dharma chakra or wheel, and parinirvana or death by the stupa. Four major schools. The four major schools developed so far under Buddhism are the following: Mahayana Buddhism. The followers of Mahayana believe that Buddha taught universal salvation. One should help ease the suffering of humanity and should not aim at personal nirvana. Theravada Buddhism. The aim of this form of Buddhism is to attain personal nirvana through the triple recourse of ethical conduct, mental discipline, and higher knowledge or wisdom. Hinayana Buddhism, they did not believe in idol or image worship of Buddha. They believe in individual salvation and try to attain individual salvation through self discipline and meditation. The ultimate aim of the Hinayana is thus Nirvana. Vajrayana Buddhism, the mantra is an easy path to achieve Buddhahood without the difficulties as compared to striving for six perfections or paramitas under the Mahayana. Islam. Islam originated in the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century AD and spread over the world through a large empire. The word Islam connotes submission to God. Those who submit to God and follow the preaching of Prophet Muhammad are called Muslims. Prophet Muhammad was the last in the long lines of messengers sent by God on the earth, like Abraham, Moses, etc. The Holy Quran, Book, and Sunnah form the basis for Islamic laws or Sharia. Basic tenets of Islam. The basic tenets of Islam are that there is only one Allah, manifestation of God, who sent his messenger to help the people on earth, and Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet. Muslims should offer namaz or prayer 5 times a day. The prayers on Friday are supposed to be in the community mosque and it is called Juma namaz. It is necessary for the Muslims to keep fast from sunrise to sunset during the month of Ramadan, which ends with Eid celebrations. According to the Prophet, one has to give a portion of the earnings to the needy and the poor, that is called zakat or charity. Major schools in India. In India, there are four major schools of thought and law in Islam, such as Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, and Hanbali. Two major sects. Although there are various sects in Islam, two major subdivisions are the following: Shia, those who were partisans of Ali; Sunni, those who follow the Sunnah. The difference between the two is based on who should be the successor to Prophet Muhammad. The majority of the Muslims in India are Sunni. The presence of Shias is made known on Muharram when they reenact the gruesome death of Ali. Christianity. One of the largest religions of the world, Christianity has a lot of followers in India. It was founded by Jesus Christ in Jerusalem, and after his persecution and resurrection after 3 days, it started to get more and more followers. After some time, it became the state religion of the Roman Empire and started spreading rapidly. The basis of Roman Catholic Christianity became Vatican City. After some time, there were several reform movements in Christianity, and sects like Protestants, Methodists, etc., became widespread. The basic philosophy of the Christianity is the existence of one God who created the universe. God sends messengers or messiahs when necessary to help his creation. Jesus was a messenger who wanted to help people to find God and become their savior. They celebrate the birth of the Christ on Christmas and urge people to congregate in the holy place to pray called church. There are two stages of the spread of Christianity in India. The first was in the medieval period, and the second was during the 18th century missionary work under the aegis of the British. The Bible. The sacred text of the Christians is the Bible. It contains portions of the Old Testament of the Jews and the New Testament. The New Testament is the collection of new writings defined by the Roman Catholic Church headed by a pope. Sikhism. Sikhism is a younger religion. Around 2% of the total population of India forms Sikhs in the comparison to other religions. Sri Guru Nanak Dev started the Sikh religion. He was the first Guru of the Sikhs. Sikhism emerged in the 15th century, tried to bridge the gap between Hinduism and Islam. Though Sikhism is dispersed widely over entire India, their largest concentration is in Punjab, where they form the majority of state's population. The concept of Khalsa, literally meaning the pure, was introduced by Guru Gobind Singh. It was made obligatory for every Sikh to wear the five Ks: Kesha, long hair; Kanga, palm; Tara, steel bracelet; Kacha, short drawers; and Kirpan, sword. Sikhism is open to all through the teachings of its 10 gurus enshrined in the Sikh holy book Adi Granth or Sri Guru Granth Sahib. Principles of Sikhism. Sikhs believe that God is monistic or non dual. He is the creator of the universe whose existence and continued survival depends on his will. God is both Saguna with attributes and Nirguna without attributes, and is called by names such as Sat, truth; Satguru, true Guru; Akal Purkh, timeless being; Kartar, creator; and Vaheguru, praise to God. The belief in 10 gurus, spiritual guides who dispel ignorance and darkness, is the essential element of Sikh religion. According to it, the only way to achieve liberation, mukti from the cycle of birth and death, is by being God conscious Gurumukh. Zoroastrianism. This religion has its origin in Persia by Prophet Zarathustra around 6 to 7 BCE. They are a monotheistic religion who believe in one eternal God whose name is Ahura Mazda. Ahura Mazda is the epitome of just behavior and goodness. There is a spirit of malice and bad behavior called Angra Mainyu. The first contact of the Zoroastrians with India was in 936 AD when they fled from Iran due to the Islamic invasions. They are commonly known as Parsis. They are presently among the smallest and the rapidly shrinking communities in India. They live mostly in Goa, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad. Their fire temples called Atash Bahram are rare, and only 8 known temples exist in the entire country. Their sacred text called Zandavesta is written in Old Avestan. It consists of 17 sacred songs, gathas, and Athunavairyo sacred chant, which was supposedly written by Zarathustra himself. They worship fire but also consider air, water, and earth to be sacred elements. They believe that dead matter is a corrupting element to everything and hence they place the dead bodies in the open to be eaten by the vultures. These open spaces are called as dakma and the vultures that eat them are called as dakma nashini. The only space known in India where their dead bodies are left is the Towers of Silence in Mumbai. There are three major sects amongst the Parsis such as Shahenshai, Kadmi and Fasli. It is one of the oldest religions and yet it has been prosecuted the most. The followers of Judaism are called Jews and several empires had targeted them. The worst case was by Hitler who systematically killed and tortured several millions of Jews in Germany. This is also a monotheistic religion that believes in one God. Their religion predates Christianity and Islam. In fact, these two religions have borrowed a lot from Judaic philosophies. The Jews believe in Yahoo or the one true God who was instituted by Abraham. The religious book is called the Torah, which is also the first five books of the Old Testament or Bible. Jews have three main sects such as Orthodox, Conservative, and Reformists. Jews in India. The first Jewish settlers came to the western coast of India, and although they are numerically small, there are five major Jewish communities in India. The Malayalam speaking Kuchinis, the Marathi speaking Bene Israel, the Baghdadi Jews of Mumbai, Pune, and Kolkata, the Bni Menashe or Manipuri Jews, and Telugu speaking Bene Ephraim Jews. Schools of philosophy. Philosophical schools. Philosophy has a long tradition in the literature of ancient India. All the schools agreed that man should strive for the fulfillment of four goals: Artha, economic means or wealth; Dharma, regulation of social orders; Kama, physical pleasures or satisfaction; Moksha, salvation. Towards the beginning of the Christian era, two different schools of philosophy were on top. These schools were the following: Orthodox schools. This school believed that Vedas were the supreme revealed scriptures that hold the secrets to of salvation and authenticity of the Vedas weren't questioned by them. They had six sub-schools which were called as Sharadarshana. Heterodox schools. They do not believe in the originality of the Vedas and question the existence of God. They are divided into three major sub-schools. Six Orthodox schools. The six sub-schools or divisions of the Orthodox school are the following: Samkhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. Samkhya school. This is the old school of philosophy and was founded by Kapil Muni, who is supposed to have written the Samkhya Sutra. The word Samkhya or Sankhya literally means count. The school believed in dualism or Dvaitavada, that is, soul and matter are separate entities. This concept is the basis of all real knowledge. The school is renowned for its scientific system of inquiry. The final philosophy argued that Prakriti and Purusha are the basis of reality and they are absolute and independent. Yoga school. Yoga means the union of two major entities. They argue that the human being can achieve salvation by combining the meditation and physical application of yogic techniques. It is argued that these techniques lead to the release of the Purusha from Prakriti and would eventually lead to salvation. This origin of yoga and the school have been expounded in the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali that is attributed tentatively to the 2nd century BCE. Nyaya school. As the name of the school suggests, they believe in the technique of logical thinking to achieve salvation. They consider the life, death, and salvation to be like mysteries that can be solved through logical and analytical thinking. Furthermore, they argue that acquiring real knowledge can only accrue salvation. This school of thought was supposed to be found by Gautama, who is identified as the author of Nyaya Sutra. Vaisheshika school. The Vaisheshika school believes in the physicality of the universe and is considered to be the objective and the realistic philosophy that governs the universe. The Kannada, who also wrote the basic text governing the Vaisheshika philosophy, is often considered the founder of this school. They argue that everything in the universe was created by the five main elements: the fire, the air, the water, the earth, and the ether, that is sky. These material elements are called as Dravya. This school is known for its scientific approach. They also developed the atomic theory. All material objects are made of atoms. Mimamsa school. The word Mimamsa literally means the art of reasoning, interpretation, and application. This school focuses on the analysis of the texts of Samhita and Brahmana and that are portions of the Vedas. They argue that the Vedas contain the eternal truth and they are the repositories of old knowledge. The texts that describe Mimamsa philosophy in detail are the Sutras of Jaimini, which were supposedly composed in 3rd BCE. The primary focus of this philosophy was on the ritualistic part of the Vedas, that is, in order to achieve salvation, one has to perform the Vedic rituals. Vedanta school. Vedanta is made up of two words, Veda and Ant, that is the end of the Vedas. This school upholds the philosophies of the life as elaborated in the Upanishads. The oldest text that formed the basis of this philosophy was Brahma Sutras of Badrayana that was written and compiled in 2nd century BCE. The philosophy propounds that Brahma is the reality of life and everything else is unreal or Maya. The Vedanta theory also gave credence to the theory of karma. They believed in the theory of Punarjarma or rebirth. Three heterodox schools. The three heterodox schools are the following: Buddhist, Jain, and Charvaka. Buddhist philosophy. The founder of this school is supposed to be the Gautama Buddha, who was born in 563 BCE at Lumbini in the foothills of Nepal. After his death, that his disciple called a council at Rajgriha, where the main teachings of the Buddhism were codified. These were the following: Upali, disciple Vinaya Pitaka, rules of the order for Buddhists. Aranda, disciple Sutta Pitaka, Buddha's sermons and doctrines. Mahakashyapa, disciple Abhidhamma Pitaka, Buddhist philosophy. According to the Buddhist philosophy, the traditional teachings imbibed in the Vedas should not be trusted blindly as they might not be useful for humans to achieve the salvation. Buddhist philosophy argues that the way to liberation nirvana is through an eightfold path. Jain philosophy. The Jain philosophy was the first elaborated by the Jain Tirthankar or wise person Rishabhadeva. He was one amongst the 24 Tirthankaras who governed the Jain religion. The first amongst them realized that the Adinath was the source of all Jain philosophy. Like the Buddhist philosophy, the Jains also opposed the primacy of the Vedas to achieve salvation. They argued that a man should control his mind by seeking the right perception and knowledge. If coupled by the right conduct, he would be able to go on the path of salvation. Jain philosophy believed that all the natural and supernatural things that are present in this universe are based on seven fundamental elements: Jiva, Ajiva, Samvara, Asarava, Bandha, Nirjara, and Moksha. The Jain philosophy argues that everything that has a substance is called Dharma. Charvaka, Lokayata philosophy. Brihaspati. Brihaspati laid the foundation stone of this school and it was supposed to be one of the earliest schools that developed a philosophical theory. The philosophy is old enough to find mention in the Vedas and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The Charvaka school was the main propounder of the materialistic view to achieving salvation. They denied the existence of any supernatural or divine agent who could regulate our conduct on earth. They argued against the need to achieve salvation and also denied the existence of Brahma and God. They believed in anything that could be touched and be experienced by the human senses. Their main philosophy in verse is expressed as eat, drink, and be merry. Sufism and Bhakti movements and saints. Sufi movement. Sufism is the mystical arm of Islam. Sufis represent the inward dimension of Islam, tasawwuf. It stresses on self-realization, tolerance, righteousness, and universal love for all. The word finds its roots in the Arabic word for wool, suf, indicative of the garments of rough wool worn by the ascetics and even the prophets. The word Sufism is sometimes also traced to root word Safa, which is in Arabic means purity. Characteristics of Sufi movement. In the beginning of 12 AD, some religious people in Persia turned to asceticism due to the increasing materialism of the caliphate. They came to be called the Sufis. The Sufis tried to purify their inner self by rigid introspection and mental struggle so as to remove even the smallest sign of selfishness and attain ikhlas, that is the absolute purity of intention and act. Sufism strictly follow the concept of Pir Murshidi or Guru Shishya tradition. The ultimate goal of the Sufism is the union with God. According to Sufism, love of God meant the love of humanity. They believed that service to humanity equals the service of God. Sufism inculcated a spirit of tolerance among its followers. They believed in the essential unity of all religions. They believed in the equality of all human beings and the universal brotherhood of man. The Sufi saints are fakirs, poor man, or dervishes standing by the door for alms. Three stages in the history of Sufism. Stage 1, Khanqa, 10th century, also called the Age of Golden Mysticism. Second stage, Tariqa, 11th to 12th, 14th century, when Sufism was being institutionalized and traditions and symbols started being attached to it. Third stage, Tariqa, 15th century onwards, the stage when Sufism became a popular movement. Philosophy of Sufism. The basic tenets of Sufism included the concept of purity. Sufism became renowned as a phenomenon for purification of hearts, tasfiyat al-qulub, which means a rigorous ethical discipline based on a meditative exercises. The basic point in the Sufi philosophy is the primacy of the inner reality and believing that God was the first, the last, and the outer and the inner. There are two different philosophies or in Sufi mystical thoughts. One is the concept of Wahdatul Wujud or the oneness of existence, which was coined by Ibn Arabi. The other is the concept of Wahdat al-Shuhud or the unity of appearance. This school was formulated by Ala al-Dawla Simnani and attracted many followers in India. Different Sufi orders in India. The Sufis came to be organized into orders or silsilas. Ain Akbari mentions a dozen silsilas. They were divided into the following two main categories such as Bi'ashara and Ba'ashara. Bi'ashara did not believe in Sharia. They came to be called Mast Khalandars, Malangs and Haidaris. These wandering saints were commonly known as Babas. The Bashara Sufis followed the law of Islam, Sharia, and the Silsila continuity founded by one particular saint and his disciple continued them. There were 12 such silsilas. They include silsilas like Chishti, Suharwardi, Firdausi, Qadariya, Naqshbandi, Chisht, etc. Chishti Silsila. The Chishti order was founded in India by Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. It began in Chisht, a small town near Herat in Afghanistan in 930 AD. Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti established his Khanqa in Ajmer to work for the purest sections of society. Their philosophy was based on the concept of panthetic monism, that is Wahdatul Wujud, which is very similar to the Vedantic philosophy. Some of the other renowned Sufi saints of their order include Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki, Sheikh Nizamuddin Awliya, Sheikh Nasiruddin Mahmud, Fariduddin Ganshakar, and Sheikh Burhanuddin Gharib, etc. Suharwardi Silsila. Sheikh Shihabuddin Suharwardi founded this silsila in Baghdad, but it was established in India by Sheikh Bahauddin Zakaria. He was given the title of Sheikh al-Islam by Iltutmish. He opened his first Khanqa in Multan. They believed that a Sufi should own the three attributes of knowledge, property, and hal, mystical enlightenment. They observed religious rituals and advocated fusion of mysticism and ilm scholarship. They became popular in Punjab, Sindh, Kashmir, and parts of Bengal. It reached its zenith under the Sheikh Ruknuddin, 1335 AD. Other notable Suhrawardi saint is Sayyid Nuruddin Mubarak. Ubraviya order. It was found in modern Uzbekistan by Sheikh Najmuddin Kubra. It is also known as Firdausiya Silsila and is popular in eastern India, Mauritius, and Bangladesh. Qadriya Silsila. It was found by Abdul Qadir Gilani, Pir Dastagir. Shah Niamatullah introduced the Silsila in India. It became popular in Punjab, especially Sindh. The peers of this order supported the concept of Wahdat al-Wujud. Mian Mir was one of the famous peer of the Silsila and enrolled Prince Dara Shikoh. Naqshbandi Silsila. Khwaja Bahauddin Naqshbandi established the Naqshbandi order in India. The most popular saint of the Silsila was Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi. It became popular during the reign of Akbar. Shattari Silsila. It was established by Sheikh Sirajuddin Abdullah Shattar and became popular in Malwa, Jaunpur, and Bengal. Tansen, the legendary musician of Akbar's court, was also a follower of Shattari Silsila. Bhakti movement. The word bhakti is derived from the Sanskrit word bhaj, which means to participate, share, and belong to. In contrast to erotic love, bhakti is spiritual in nature and refers to the complete devotion. An important feature of the cultural history of the medieval India was the silent revolution in society brought about by a galaxy of social religious reformers, a revolution known as the Bhakti movement. The Bhakti movement originated in the southern parts of India, especially Tamil Nadu between 7th to 12th centuries. It slowly percolated to the northern belt by the end of 15th century. In South India, there are two main groups of Bhakti saints: Nayanars, Shiva devotees, and Alvars, Vishnu devotees. They preached devotion to God as a means of salvation. They also disregarded the austerities preached by Buddhism and Jainism. Characteristics of Bhakti movement: intense and love and devotion as the means of salvation, unity of God, universalism, and repeating the one true name again and again, rejection of rituals and ceremonies, no caste discrimination, both men and women were allowed, local and regional languages, equality and spirit of brotherhood was propagated. Two schools of bhakti movements. Depending on the way they imagined God, the bhakti saints were divided into two schools: Nirguna and Saguna. Nirguna school of thought imagined the God as formless with no attributes or quality. The prominent figures of this school of thought were Guru Nanak, Kabir Das, and Dadu Dayal. On the other hand, the Saguna school thought of God as having a definite form, quality, and positive attributes, and the God manifested himself in incarnations such as Rama and Krishna. Ramanuja, Ramananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonged to this school of thought, Saguna school. Bhakti movement in South India. The Alvars and the Nayanars were opposed to Brahmanical domination and were opposed to Jainism and Buddhism. Together, they laid the foundation of Bhakti movement in India. Nayanars. They were originally a group of 63 Tamil saints devoted to Lord Shiva. The details of their lives and of the saints are described in the work Devaram, which is also called as Dravida Veda. Alvars. They were propagators of Vaishnavism and regarded Vishnu or Krishna as a supreme being. There were 12 Alvars. They composed hymns in the praise of Vishnu and his avatars, which are compiled in Divya Prabandha. Andal is the only female Alvar saint who is referred to as Meera of the South. Veerashaiva movement. The Veerashaiva movement is a Shaivite sect in Hinduism. It emerged in the 12th century AD in Karnataka during the reign of Kalachuri dynasty. It was initiated by the Basavanna and was assisted by Allama Prabhu and Akka Mahadevi. Followers are called Veerashaiva, heroes of Shiva, or the Lingayats, wearers of Shiva Linga. They opposed the elaborate rituals prescribed by the Hindu priests. They also rejected the caste system and various social practices of Hindus. They wanted a more egalitarian society and greater individual freedom. Important Bhakti saints in India. Shankaracharya, 9th century CE. He wrote commentaries on the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. The changes done by him led to the development of Advaita Vedanta. He considers Brahma to be without any attributes. He considers knowledge or jnana to be the main means of attaining salvation. Ramanujam. He was a Tamil Brahmin and one of the most important exponents of Vaishnavism. He was the founder of Vishist Advaita philosophy, that is qualified monism. According to him, salvation can be attained through karma, gyan, or bhakti. He wrote Sri Bhasya and Gita Bhasya. Nimbarka. He was the founder of Dvaita, that is dualistic monism. He wrote Vedanta Parijata Saurabha, a commentary on Brahma Sutras. He referred to five methods of salvation: karma, vidya, not an independent factor; dhyana, meditation; prapatti, devotion; and guru pasatti, devotion and self surrender to Guru. Madhavacharya. He is the founder of Dvaita Vada, dualism school of Vedanta. According to him, salvation can be achieved only through grace of God. Ramananda. He was a great worshipper of Rama and was the pioneer of Bhakti movement in northern India. He was a social reformer, opened the door of Bhaktism to all without any discrimination on the basis of birth, caste, creed, or sex. His verses are mentioned in Adi Granth also. Kabir Das, he was a disciple of Ramananda. He is one of the greatest bhakti saints, and it is his idea percolated to every section of society. He emphasized the idea of the unity of God, whom he calls by several names interchangeably, such as Allah, Rama, Rahim, Hari, etc. He strongly criticized the discriminatory caste system, especially untouchability. His poems are called Bani's utterances. His works are compiled in the famous book Bijak. Shankar Dev. He was born in Assam and was a very famous playwright, poet, saint, and scholar. He was the one who popularized Vaishnavism in Assam. He started Ekasarana movement, Neo Vaishnavite movement, and believed in the worship of Ekasarana, one god in the form of Krishna. Vallabhacharya. He was the founder of Shuddha Dvaita, pure non-dualism, and is popularly known as Pushti Marg. According to him, salvation is possible through sneha, deep-rooted love for God. Guru Nanak. He was born in Talwandi, Pakistan. He was inspired by Kabir Das and he was the proponent of Nirguna school. He emphasized Nam Japana, that is repeated utterances of God's name to feel his presence. He also criticized the discriminatory caste practices and wished for equality of all. Everybody, irrespective of their caste or creed, was welcome to come and have meals in the community kitchens, langars. His teachings can be found in Guru Granth Sahib, the revered Sikh scripture. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was an ardent Krishna devotee. He was the propounder of the Saguna school and popularized kirtans, religious songs, as a form of worshipping God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was very popular in Eastern India and lived most of his life in Puri and Odisha. He wrote Siksastakam, a text in Sanskrit where he elaborated his philosophy. Mirabai. She was a princess born into a royal family of Pali Rajasthan. Mirabai was an ardent devotee of Lord Krishna and regarded Krishna as her lover. She composed bhajans, short religion songs, which are sung even today. Mirabai composed Vraj Bhasa in Rajasthani language. Tukaram. He was a worshipper of Vittala or Vithoba, incarnation of Vishnu. He composed Abhanga poetry and encouraged devotional congregation and kirtans. He was against the caste and gender discrimination. Ramdas. He was a famous saint from Maharashtra and a worshipper of Hanumana and Rama. He wrote the book Dasbodh or Advaita Vedanta. Chhatrapati Shivaji had great respect for Saint Ramdas.